Okay, so this should be number 4 in your interactive notebook. The title of this is Using the Conditional and If-Then Sentences. So this is just a review on your Unit 2 logic. The first thing to know is that your original conditional is going to be represented by the letters P, then Q. The next thing to learn is that Q, then P is called our converse. Not P, then not Q is called our inverse. And not Q, then not P is what we call the contrapositive. For all these sentences, an arrow pointing to the right is going to symbolize the word then. And anytime we see this little squiggly, that means the word not, or it can mean the opposite, which is very important to remember. For example, if our original if-then sentence is, if I go to the park, then I walk my dog. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to underline the first part after the if. This is what you're going to label P. This stands for the hypothesis. The part after the then is going to signify the conclusion. And the letter for our conclusion is Q. Under the then, you can simply place an arrow and you are all done. This is what we would call the conditional. The conditional is what you base all your other sentences on. So if your conditional is if I go to the park, then I walk my dog, and I ask you to write the converse, all you're going to do is you're going to flip the order. So your Q is going to go first. I would start with if I walk my dog, then my P, which is I go to the park. Okay, and you're also going to underline just to make sure you did this right. Walking my dog should be my Q, and it is. Arrow under then, going to the park should be my P, and it is. Now if I asked you to do the inverse of this sentence, you're going to want to make the first part opposite or negative, and the second part opposite or negative. So the opposite of going to the park would be not going to the park. So I would say, if I do not go to the park, then you're going to make your Q negative. The opposite of walking my dog would be not walking my dog. Then I do not walk my dog. Okay, and to make sure we did this right, we're going to underline the first part. Going to the park should be P, and it is. Because we have this not word, we're going to make the symbol for not or negative, which is the squiggly. Under the then, I place my arrow. Underline walking my dog, which is my Q. And because I have the word not or the opposite, I'm going to make the squiggly. Okay? And lastly, if I wanted you to do the contrapositive, you're going to reverse the order like you did with the converse, but you're also going to make each of these statements opposite. So I'd start with the Q part, which is walking my dog, and I want the opposite of walking my dog. So I would say, if I do not walk my dog, the opposite of your P, which was going to the park, then I do not go to the park. Then I do not go to the park. Okay, and just to make sure we did this right, we're going to underline. Walking my dog should be Q. We have the word not, so we're going to put a squiggly. arrow under then, going to the park is my P, and because I have the word not, I make it a squiggly. Okay, so that's an example of how to use all of your if-then sentences using the conditional. Important thing to remember is that all of these statements, converse, inverse, contrapositive, go off of the conditional. So this is your original sentence. This is always your P, this is always your Q, and each of these go off of your conditional.